Hello people. Happy 2021. I think this is my first video of the new year. So welcome, new energy. I would like to know what your word is for 2021. For me, I am definitely ready for a fucking quantum up level and expansion. Like the energy of pure potentiality is really like raging within me right now. And it just makes all the shit show of 2020 worth it. And when I mean shit show, I don't mean about the whole pandemic and like the whole whatever you want to call that, but rather like the healing that I've done. Like I have been on awfuls, crying, screaming, like going around loops more than I've ever done in my life. Like my emotional were like fully charged, and there were times that I just go like, fuck this shit, I'm ready to go back to the matrix because this is crazy, right? And now it seems to make a lot of sense because I definitely feel like I have removed a lot of stuck emotions or stuck memories in my body, and now I feel like I am a much clearer vessel for downloads for whatever it is that needs to be channeled through me as the creator. So for those of you, if you are just at the start of your healing journey, or if you are ready to go deep into that realm of darkness where you are actually meeting yourself in the depth that you've never done before for the very first time, know that it's going to be okay. Like I am a perfect example. Like, you know, I've done my very first ayahuasca ceremonies, and I have had multiple like crazy but like eye-opening experience with mushrooms. Like plant medicine has really played a big part of my expansion last year. So, you know, I was presented with truth that some of them, you know, it's hard to stomach because, you know, most of your life you have been built on this illusion based on expectations of what other people want you to be, based on this whole system that was created by who the fuck knows, right? And there was all this stuff that we have truly forgotten who we are. But this is the magical thing about our body. It carries the ancient wisdom. And if you truly allow yourself to connect yourself in that level, it's going to reveal a lot of truth about you, about your soul, and really help you to remember who you really are and what you come here for. And yeah, so basically I digress there, but you know, like now coming off the other end, it really feels like everything is coming into places and everything is like really happening at a quantum speed. And it really comes down to deciding what it is that you truly want. And the thing is, there is no certainty of whether what it is that you decide is real, like it's right or wrong, especially when you have been so out of touch of with your soul. Because, you know, one of the things that I get a lot from you guys, from the clients or from potential clients that wants to work with me, is that, you know, I don't want this uncertainty. I want to explore the unknown, but I want this certainty. I want this stability, external stability. And the only stability and certainty that you can have is within your soul, because you can never control anything external. You know, everything could be going well, but tomorrow someone might turn off the internet, and while the whole world goes into, well, it's worse than lockdown, right? I feel like that would be worse than any virus when there's no longer internet for us to use. Like, just think about it for a second. How would you react in that situation? So that is something that I want to talk about today, is that energetic boundaries and up leveling, and how I choose, you know, what are the kind of clients that I want to be working with, that I want to be holding that energetic container for the next 4 to 8 months. And this came about to me because I'm just in the application process to taking 3 to 5 really high level mentees to work together to really help them to step into the fullest expression of the truth as a leader, as a creator, so that they are able to share their soul mission, the message, and the voice with the collective, which so desperately needs it right now. And it has been really interesting because, when I look back, with the clients that I work with in 2020 and the kind of potential clients that I was calling in, there is a massive shift or up level. And I realized it was, the things that I've been doing hasn't really changed a lot. It was just me really claiming it and taking a new level of ownership and just really playing at the level that I want to play with. And this is, I think with every up level, there is death that needs to happen. There is the energetic cord that you have to cut through in order for you to birth into this new level version of yourself. And I'm saying this because I've had a few conversations with different people that goes, that might have been burned by business coaches, by shitty, sleazy coaches, especially if you're a manifestor, because 80% of the population out there is generators, and they try to shove their shit into you through it, and it never works for us. And I have spent over 100,000 in the past 5 years of my personal development entrepreneurship journey. And yes, I'm well aware that I could have owned a property by now, and I don't, and it's okay. And that is something that you have to come to terms with, right? You can have everything, but you can't have 1 foot forward in that 5D reality, in the new paradigm, but then you have your whole back foot. Refuse to let go of the old paradigm that you're in. Then you're going to be at this like liminal stage that you would never be able to step into the fullest potential that you are. And I was in that stage for about 1.5 years, right? And what I mean by having to cut the energetic cords is because, sorry, I digress a little bit, kind of gone off tangent a little bit. The reason why I brought that up is because I've had different messages from you guys to say that you have invested in bad coaches and all that stuff, and you can't choose to work with me, la-di-da-di-da. And I'm saying this from a place of love and compassion because I have been through those situations. And for me, it was like, okay, it's like the mindset of gambling, right? Like if you go into casino and see the people who are gambling, it's like the ones, it always starts with, well, I'm winning, and then it hits a point where you start to lose money. And then the amateur, or the ones that always get into like massive shit debt with the casino, is the ones that go, okay, so I've lost my money now. I'm going to keep playing this game here until I break even. Then I would walk away. And what usually happens? They fucking lost it all. They could have walked away at that time and tried maybe a different game or go the other way to break even. But no, they stay in that same spot, hoping that they're going to make that money back. Then they would walk away. And this is the same with like shitty coaches. And it is what it is. And I felt that, I have gone through my rage, my disappointment, my frustration, my like being so fucking furious as like, why do you exist in this world? Because you're meant to help people, but you're basically using that as a way to, I don't want to use the word scam because I don't know the story of the coach. Maybe their coaches taught them that way, because if you look into the whole business coaching industry, it's like a whole fucking pyramid scheme, right? But my point is that I went through those emotions, and I potentially might be, in your situation as well, where I go, okay, now I need to make back all these money, then I can invest in a better coach. And, all these thoughts of like, okay, I can't do this until I've done that because of something that I have done like 2 years ago. And sure, there might be areas where you can progress a little bit, but the energetic cord right there is that the mindset there is like, okay, because now I have been burned by these coach or these coaches, that the next coach that I hire has to be the one that checks the box of like A to Z before I would pay her or him X amount of money. And there's these expectations, there's this like unhealthy energetic like entanglement. And that's not how that's not how you are going to quantum leap. Because if you think about the coaches or the ones that are playing at a quantum level, the ones that are playing at the level that you truly want to be, they are not the ones that are going to cow by like the minute, because they operate in an energetic state. They operate in a quantum rate, which means nothing goes by step A to step Z. You can play in that state. There's nothing wrong with that. That could be sorry, just burping. You could play in the paradigm, but it's not going to get the results that you want to, because the mentors or the coaches that play at that level is not going to take you as a client, because they know that clients like that are energetically draining. And I can talk about this. I feel like I have to put this disclaimer here, because I'm not here to bash or try to say like what you do is wrong. I'm just trying to paint a different perspective, because of when I truly let go of that, like everything shift. Like I have like more sales coming through. I have more inquiries coming through from people that wanting to work with me, because I stop attaching anything to those coaches, those bad mistakes that I've made. Like I spent all of Monday really deleting every single piece of information, resources that I have purchased from Mastermind, from my old coaches, out of my computer, out of my creative zone, off. I've held on to it for over a year, thinking that maybe I might need it. With that thought of maybe I might need it, there is still this energetic cord that's happening, which means that I don't fully trust the new paradigm. I don't fully trust what I'm meant, like, I don't fully trust the new earth. I don't fully trust like authentic marketing. That's why I'm holding on to all these resources that I was given. And I thought I've let it go, right? Like, it has been over a year and a half. I have done my fair share of writing letter of forgiveness, writing letter of anger, burn that over at full moon, all that shit. I've done that. Like, I've done all of that. But to a certain level, it helps. But then if I want to propel it to a way higher level, there's still this cord that's holding me down. And it's been great deleting them all. And because now I'm like, you know what? It is a investment that I've made instead of a bad decision. Instead of like shit has gotten me into debt, it has gotten me into all this shit show of a situation. The biggest lesson here is it taught me to trust myself, to trust my intuition, to listen to my desire, to listen to my heart, to ask myself what it is that I really need. It has taught me to become a better buyer, because now I can sniff through bullshit like for miles. Like there's only a handful of mentors that I work with right now that I could sense the authenticity, because you can't see the truth of other people when you don't see the truth within yourself. And so that is that. And I have something that I was going to say, but I think it just slipped off my mind. Anyways, I think it's going to come back to me. But basically what I'm trying to say is that the moment you let that go, the moment you truly step into that new and just truly trusting that whatever it is that you need to go ahead with is enough, like creativity, opportunities, potential, it starts to open up for you. And I remember what I was going to say now. And the thing is, when I truly look back and be really honest with myself, sure, I was angry at the coaches that uses sleazy sales tactic and psychology to sell me the bullshit or whatever it is, to sell to my lack of self-worth, to sell to my need to prove myself. But he or she did not take a gun at my head, forcing me to work with them. Did they? No, they didn't. At the end of the day, it was still a choice that I made at that time, not knowing better. And it's something that I had to forgive myself, and it's something that I have to own a responsibility for, because I was the one that handed the credit card over. Right? And that is a perspective for you to think about, because it's so easy for us to like, oh yeah, he shouldn't have done that, he shouldn't have done that. But if we're going to put the truth here, if I had the self-worth of knowing that I am enough, knowing that I have everything that I need, what I needed help was that person to help me bring that up or to work through whatever it is that is holding me back. If I did not have the need to prove myself so desperately through next level success, instead, if I come from a point of needing some support to help me take my work to the next level, then the coaches or the mentors that I would have hired would be completely different, right? So it's on me, And when I said it's on me, I don't say in a critique way, it's like, fuck, you should have known better, la-di-da-di-da, but from a place of compassion of like, oh yeah, it's on me. But then the Adeline 2 years ago didn't know any better. The Adeline 2 years ago did not know how to love herself. The Adeline 2 years ago did not see what an amazing human being she was. The Adeline 2 years ago didn't know that success doesn't mean anything or like a business doesn't mean anything. So the decision was made based on that, and now I knew better, and now it's something that I had to let go. Why am I holding on to that for so many years that is holding me back from next level of expansion? And this is why I ask people, when I talk to my potential clients, is that, do you really need another business coach? It might be true for some people, but what I realize, I think a lot of us have this impression or this belief or this story that when we build a business of this level, at this level, then we can solve all the problems that we have in our lives. Trust me, I've been that. When when I first became a digital nomad and started my marketing agency, it was like for Quest of Freedom. And when I got it, I was like, okay, I actually have it on my journal somewhere. I can't remember. I don't know if I still have it. Is that I will work on my relationships once I have made my million. Like, even though deep down my desire was love, right? And for a long time, that's why I keep signing up for business coaches, even though that's not what I need. But then I wasn't, it was a blind spot that it was a blind spot that I couldn't see. So I wasn't willing to look into my need for a relationship coach versus a need for business coach, because my mind's like, okay, I'm only worthy to work in my relationship once I've built this business, which is fucked up, right? And lo and behold, what truly changed when I actually had a relationship coach, which opens me up to my repressed feminine and sexuality. And I remember when we were first working, like, I was like, don't tell me I need to trust myself. I trust myself. Like, God bless Nico for like, really, it was good. Like, Nico was my relationship coach, and he ain't taking no shit from me. He was like, darling, you're gonna do, I actually have a video of that, so I'm gonna post it down below. Like, he doesn't take any of this shit. He was like, you don't trust yourself. You need to open your heart. Lo and behold, so much gratitude for him. Like, I would not be where I am today without Nico. So that was when I stopped hiring business coaches. I have shamans, I have healers, I have body workers. And the next coach that I'm going to hire has to be probably in like, I don't know, like now, right now, I am very happy with like just healers, like shamans, anything that helps me connect to my ancient wisdom, and everything else is great. But it took me a long time. I had to do that because it's really sweaty. But for a long time, like, I keep fucking hiring business coach when, like, I'm not trying to, well, maybe I'm trying to humble brag, but I have better business skills and marketing skills than half of these people that I've hired. I mean, I was an accountant. I work in corporate. I ran a team of like 6 or 7 when I was 28. I had my own successful marketing agency working with clients across APAC, which is a real business, not a business, not a coaching business anyways, that whole pyramid scheme thing. But yeah. So I guess the lesson here for you is that, are you holding on to an old story? Are you holding on to something, to a bad decisions that you made, and allow it to take over your future self? Because if you are making decisions, and if you're operating from that point in your past, you're never going to get to where you want to be. It is what it is. Someone has to say it. And the second part of this video, it's kind of related to this. It's like the perceived value that we have. Actually, I should probably give you a backstory. So I was trying to write this, but I feel like my writing is a bit blocked, and I felt like it has to come out through words and voice, and hence here we are. And hence here we have this Bali freeze-ball hair that I really have no idea how to fucking deal with this. So if anyone has any suggestion, please let me know. But other than that, it's okay. You can have shitty hair, but if your vibe is great, doesn't matter what hair you have. So that's the second part of this up-leveling thing, is that how do you make your decisions, right? So this was something that happened probably like towards the end of last year. I was debating, thinking for days as to whether I should go to this healing ceremony and see one of my favorite artists perform here. Like, I love his work. It was probably about 350k rupiah, so that's about $25 US dollars, which is nothing. But I spent fucking like literally a week to think if I wanted to go to that. And the funny thing, well, it's not really funny, but the thing was, the week before, I spent 700k rupiah, which is about $50 US dollars, on 2 bottles of wine without batting a lashes. Like, without batting my lashes. Like, here you go. But to go that concept, which I knew that the healing ceremony, it's going to always open something that, open me up to a different truth. And I love his work, which means that the experience or the energy that I'm in, it's going to be fucking great. Like, it should be a no-brainer. But somehow I had to think, and that is my old conditioning, right? And I almost didn't go because I was like, oh, is it like, I don't even, like, it just doesn't make sense now that I tell the story. It's like, why am I thinking? It's like, fuck. And it's the funny thing was, it was a similar time where I start to see myself as an artist, as a creator, more so than anything else. So I'm a muse, I'm an artist, I'm a creator ahead of anything else. And then now I look back, it was like, fuck, of course, like, I wasn't going to get paid for any of my writing if I'm not going to support every artist. Subconsciously, I'm like, oh, right, the value, the experience that this artist is going to give me does not worth as much as the instant gratification that 2 bottles of great wine give me. And now, don't get me wrong, like, I do love a good bottle of good wine, especially now that I don't drink that much. I barely drink anymore. So like, red wine is like a fucking luxurious experience for me. But at that time, it's like, okay, now it makes sense why the potential clients or the clients that I was calling in are of this similar mindset, because I was holding on not only to my old coach and all this, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, like that energetic codependency. And also, when I see other artists perform, I don't give them the recognition that they deserve, which means I don't give the creative or the artist in me the same recognition it deserves. It's as simple. And another recognition that I had was, in the past, I always felt like I have to sell how to make money. But I never resonated with being a money coach. Like, it's just not a desk. Mine is like the soul expression, like being all that you are. That's my mission, and that's my soul mission. But then in my head, like in my marketing, like, that's why it never came out the way, the potency that it was meant to come out, because I was trying to sell money and income. It just isn't, like, it is a byproduct of showing up as who you are, but it wasn't what it is. And then I realized it was because subconsciously I still place money ahead of the importance of money, ahead of healing, ahead of self-expression, ahead of truth. Of course, the people that I'm attracting is going to, come from that space. Like, this shit ain't like, this whole story or this whole video that I share with you is a perfect example of how your external reality is a reflection of your internal reality. And so like now I look back when I wrote that journal entry about how fucking ridiculous it was for me to spend a week thinking if I should pay 25 USD to go to a performance and a healing ceremony that I knew that it was only going to be fucking good. But somehow I had no problem blowing $50 on 2 bottles of wine because I'm so used to that. And I know when I was, at the start of my personal development journey as well, was that like that was back when I was doing corporate days. No problem blowing over $100 on drinks every fucking Friday without a fail. Yet, when it comes to a $200 courses, I have to think, or sometimes I can't afford it. It comes down to priority, and it comes down to perceived value to yourself. And a lot of us, many of us, have these perceived value of instant gratification, of security, of what we think we need versus what we truly desire. And that is something that I have really set the intention for 2021 and beyond, is that I am no longer available for these energetic codependency, which means that I'm not going to use psychology, like some sales psychology of like, okay, this is what you need, which is why most of my programs are actually, it's evergreen, which means I'm not going to tell you that, there's limited, like some of them, if I'm running programs or if I'm running like an experience that is live, which something is coming up, it's called the Creatrix portal that came through to me this week. I'll share some information on that later. But unless it's live, which there is a limited space to be in that energetic container, most of my stuff, like my Manifestor Magic Workshop Series, like the Soul School, they're evergreen. So I'm not going to try like, if you don't do this time, you're never going to be the person you're meant to be, whatever it is, because the people that I want to work with, I trust them to trust themselves, to know that they need to do whatever it takes, whether it is doing their own, whether it's being resourceful themselves, which is possible. Like I have done a lot of that, like by finding resources because I couldn't find someone that I truly trust them more than I trust myself, which that's not a topic on its own. I don't trust them to be able to open and expand me more than I'm able to do that myself. It's a long time coming to be able to be in this space, but the people that I want to work with is committed to their own growth. It's committed to their soul. It's committed to showing up and being the leader that they're here to be. So what my point here is that I'm no longer available for like having to convince you that you have this unlimited potential. Like you need to know that you have this untapped potential and you want to unleash that. And then that's when I hold the space for you to express, for you to unleash this beast that is within you. Like, so my gift is that I can see straight to your soul. I can see straight to what you have to offer. Like even if you can't see it in yourself, I'm that person that can see the light within you before you can see it. I can help you to believe it. If you believe that deep inside, that's that potential within you, and you want to, and you are committed to connecting to that potential that's within you. But if you just know that, you're meant to be better, so you're meant to make a mark in the world, that the leader that you could have been, but you choose not to believe it. You choose to be like, that's something that I could have done, but you choose to believe more in your whatever stories is it that you have. Then I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. And that is the energetic boundaries that I'm talking about this year, is that I'm not here to convince for those who are not ready to be awakened. But self-awareness doesn't mean shit if you're not taking any actions from that. If you're not actually if you're not doing anything with those self-awareness, because then it's just become you trying to perpetuate yourself in that story, and it's not going to get you anywhere. 2021 is all about expansion and up level, which means that the people that I work with, when they expand, I fucking expand. When they break, when they go through like a massive death of their old identity, of the ego, of this fucking facade that they've built for ages, and initiating into what they are meant to be. When they go through that rebirth process, I fucking expand. And this is the energetic container that I want to hold for those leaders who are going to rise up in the new world And I'm unavailable for anything else, and so should you. Which means that if you are ready to step up, you're going to do whatever the fuck it takes. And you're going to ask yourself what it is that is important to you. So I'm speaking, it's the way I share this now is very different from like 2 years ago where it's like do. Like pleasure and creative time is like my priority. So I wouldn't touch anything else until that, which means that's why I restructure and recalibrate the energetic container that I have for the one-on-one clients that I'm taking in, and the different programs with the different creation, like the Creatrix portal. It's something that came to me on Monday. It's like, is this 30-day experience in which we really unleash a new level of creativity, of potential, which means that you would receive my downloads every day, whatever it is that meant to come through to me. And it's based on trust and willing to be led by the universe. So this is going to be a fucking powerful container. It's going to be out probably today or tomorrow. So if you're interested, definitely drop me a message on Instagram, or you can leave in the comments below. Or I'll put something down there for you to know. But this is the kind of energy that I want in 2021. See, the thing is, if you know that you're ready and you're ready to go deep into healing, I'm all for that. I'm a great space holder, which means you can scream, you can yell, you can swear, you can do whatever the fuck you want in that container, and there's no boundaries. Literally, there are no boundaries. You can talk about wanting to have a gangbang or whatever it is that you want. Like I said, no boundaries, but only for people that are committed, that choose, that say yes to soul and not fucking still plugging into the old paradigm. It's not still plugging into like all the shit that you have taken on. One of the best advice that I've gotten is from Tori Washington, which was one of the mentor that I learned from, is that you want to be a leader. Leader comes with responsibility and ownership. You can't be a leader without claiming ownership and responsibility of your soul mission. So I'm still in the process of talking and taking in applications for my one-on-one deep soul penetration mentoring. It's going to be a 4 or 8 months container, and it's for those of you who are ready to really unleash the creator, the artist, the expression of you as a leader, as a creator, as an entrepreneur, to maximize your impact, to really express your truth to the world, because you're so sick of those fucking old paradigm shit, and you're ready to step into that, and you want to be in this energy to really get into a new level of expression. That's you. You can drop me a message, or you can apply straight. Most of the people that has reached out so far just drop me a message on Instagram, and I feel like that's the way for us to kind of get intimate, to know if we're in for each other. So have a think about it. If it's a full body fuck yes, definitely drop me a message. And if it's not aligned, like I'm not afraid to say no now. If it's not aligned, it's not aligned. Doesn't mean that you don't have the potential. It's just the energy. It's not a right mix. 2021 has no room for shitty energy or like unaligned energy. So that's for you, and hope you have an amazing, amazing week and a year ahead, and I'll catch you later.